As I'm in one of the hardest seasons of my life, I want to share with you the mindset that helps me to stay calm in those uncertain times. So even if you feel like nothing's working out for you, by the end of this video, you'll have 3 keys to change your mindset and overcome your current situation. In hard seasons, we're so focused on our own problems that we often forget about other people's battles in the past or present. Every person goes through uncertain times in their life. Uncertainty is a universal thing. And so history is full of people who couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel at some point in their lives. But it didn't mean that their difficult chapter would be their final story. Before J.K. Rowling became one of the most successful authors in history, her life looked nothing like a success story. She was a single mother, struggling financially, dealing with depression, and trying to raise her daughter while writing in cafes whenever she could find the time. She later described herself as being as poor as it was possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. To make things worse, publisher after publisher rejected her manuscript for Harry Potter. One rejection became 2, then 5, then 10, then 12. Imagine how easy it would have been for her to conclude that her situation would never change. From where she stood, there was no bestseller, no movie franchise, and no worldwide fame. There was only uncertainty. But eventually, a small publishing company decided to give her book a chance. That one opportunity changed everything. Looking back, it's obvious that her difficult season was temporary. But while she was living through it, she couldn't see the ending. She could only see the struggle. And that's often true for us as well. We assume that because something is difficult now, it will always be difficult. We mistake a chapter for the entire story. So the first key to stay calm in uncertain times is to be aware that your current situation is only temporary. Millions of people were in similar situations like you, and they somehow managed to get through it. But it doesn't mean that you can just sit there and wait for the difficult season to pass. You have to take action, you have to be persistent, and you need to be consistent. It won't be easy, but the next story will show you how you get through uncertain times while you're still in there. Walt Disney is remembered as a visionary, but his journey began with disappointment after disappointment. Early in his career, he was fired from a newspaper job because his editor believed he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Later, he started an animation company that went bankrupt. The business failed, he lost money, and many people would have taken that as a sign to quit. But Disney refused to let setbacks define his future. Even when there was little evidence that things would work out, he continued believing in what was possible. He kept creating, he kept dreaming, and kept moving forward. Years later, that optimism led to Mickey Mouse, animated films that changed entertainment forever, and eventually Disneyland itself. What's remarkable isn't that Walt Disney succeeded. What's remarkable is that he remained hopeful long before he had any proof that success was coming. He chose optimism before circumstances gave him a reason to. And that leads to the second key: keep an optimistic attitude. Optimism is a choice. And before you say that you're a realist and that optimists don't know what's actually happening, I want to tell you that optimism doesn't mean denying reality and hoping for the best. It means rather focusing on possibilities than on probabilities. And it's precisely this attitude that reflects on your actions and your resilience. Optimism changes how you see the future, and based on that vision, you can move forward. But you still need to deal with today's problems, and that's exactly what the next story is going to show you. In April of 1970, Apollo 13 was on its way to the moon when disaster struck. An oxygen tank exploded, severely damaging the spacecraft and putting the lives of 3 astronauts in immediate danger. Suddenly, a mission that had been about exploration became a fight for survival. The astronauts were over 200,000 miles from Earth, resources were limited, time was running out, and nobody had ever faced a situation quite like this before. What happened next became one of the greatest examples of problem solving under pressure. Back on Earth, engineers and mission controllers gathered to figure out how to bring the crew home safely. They could have spent their time focusing on the disaster. They could have panicked, They could have argued about whose fault it was. Instead, they focused on one question: how do we get these men home? Every decision, every conversation, and every ounce of energy was directed toward finding solutions. Against incredible odds, the astronauts returned safely to Earth. Apollo 13 reminds us that in moments of uncertainty, our greatest progress happens when we stop obsessing over the problem and start looking for the next solution. And that's why the third key to staying calm in uncertain times is keeping an eye on the solution. What happened already happened. You can't change it anymore, and you can't control everything that happens after that. So don't blame yourself and don't waste your energy by pondering about it. Instead, look for a solution and focus on what you can control, even when it's only small things that you can control. By finding solutions, you can take action and create momentum. So don't think about problems because they only create paralysis. Think about solutions because that is how you can stay calm in uncertain times. Whatever your hard season looks right now, remember these three keys. First, this situation is only temporary. Second, keep an optimistic attitude. Third, keep your eye on the solution. Learn from other people's hardships. Trust the process because growth often happens in uncertainty, and keep moving forward. One day you'll look back and realize that this season was preparing you for something greater.